Hello and welcome to another episode of Respect the Mic podcast.
This is the podcast where we talk about Asian things that matter to Asian people. As always, I'm your host, Michael Lam.
And I'm your boy, Michael Trung. Welcome again. Yes, as you can see, another Zoom episode. You may or may not know, well, you should know by now, but...
if you don't know, I don't know where you've been living.
As of releasing this episode, we're in lockdown. Here we go again. Recording
it now, we're not actually in lockdown, but when it released, we'll be in lockdown.
Exactly. But we're gearing up, man. I'm quick on this. Quick on the edit, ready. Turn it around.
Plus, I'm in self-isolation, which is the main reason.
why are you in self-isolation, Lam?
I just went on holiday. I managed to take one last little holiday.
Rah.
To nice little Italy before this whole lockdown procedure. So, luckily, I got it in.
Wow, living the best.
But it's kind of mad.
What's it like there?
It's beautiful.
Did people look at you be like, yeah, you're Chinese?
Do you know what?
Country.
I got so many looks. That was I don't even know what accent that was. That sounded kind of East European or something.
I don't know an Italian accent, man. But hey, we're not here for accuracy here on accents.
All right, cool. But we got loads of looks. But I don't know whether it's because there were just no coloured people there at all. Because it was like 99.9% Italian Caucasian people. Yeah. So they just must have looked at me like, oh my gosh, this guy isn't Italian. But I don't know whether it was like COVID related or like, oh my gosh, this guy's got COVID. But overall, people were really friendly there. Like, didn't feel like I got anything.
And how are you
bad
feeling?
Or negative?
Feeling a bit like scratchy cough or like?
No, man, I'm perfect. I'm perfect.
You're looking a bit ill there, Lam.
What are you trying to say? I'm looking a bit unhealthy. I'm feeling fit, mate.
won't be coming to see you. Lockdown. So I guess this is the format that we're going to be taking now for the foreseeable future. Obviously, 1st of December, 1st December, 2nd December. 2nd of December is meant to be the cool date.
But there ain't no way it's going to get lifted 2nd of December.
Nah, fam. I mean, remember when they said it was 3 weeks?
yeah, and then they extended it
3 months later.
Trust me.
Oh my god.
I'm just kind of hoping towards the Christmas period, like 20th, 21st, they're just like, we'll lift a few restrictions. We'll let you see your family.
I don't think it's wise. Obviously, I think countrywide, everybody wants that ability to celebrate Christmas with a family and do that whole, quintessential British thing. But if we think about it pragmatically, I mean, we're only going lockdown for a month. This is not really going to curb the numbers based on previous numbers. And this is my assumption, and I don't know shit all because I ain't a doctor. I failed there too. Soz mum. But yeah, I mean, like, it's winter. More people get ill in winter. Their immune systems are down. So, like, gear up, boys. Strap in. This is going to be a rocky winter. That's just my assumption.
Fair point.
And again, I don't know shit all.
To counter that, like, mental health is so important. If you're telling people, even for Christmas, you can't see your mom, you can't see your dad, you can't see loved ones, that's going to be a bit crazy because I think what I think will happen is they'll be like, make sure if you have no symptoms, if you make sure you do all the right things, then we'll let you see one other bubble or like one other household kind of thing on like Christmas Day or like Boxing Day or whatever.
Yeah, I think they'll do everything in their power to try and make it happen, but I don't think it's a wise decision. Like, I don't think that should happen. Mentally, like, I agree, like, mental health is definitely going to be affected, and that we definitely need to do.
Yeah, you think about suicide rates is always at the highest in January. If you're asking, if you take away Christmas from them as well,
but
jeez,
I mean, either way,
pretty grim to talk about, but
yeah, but then that's the case that we're leaning to. Okay, let's let people die of COVID then, because infection rates will go up on that day that everybody's allowed to see each other. Like, those rates will go up regardless. But hey,
I don't know. Well, if you keep safe and you got no symptoms, right.
But how do
you wear a mask and you wash your hands?
Yeah.
But I mean, you think about all of those. You think about the BLM protests. There were so many protests, but we didn't see cases spike after that. So I don't think it's as quite as black and white as saying let people out on Christmas Day and then we're going to see a huge spike in cases. I don't think it's as black and white as that.
I think we would, man. I think we would, because you're definitely going to get people who are, you know, drinking and being jolly, right? So, you know, sometimes they won't think about, you know, social distance, and even if you can visit somebody else's bubble, like there will be a
But you don't need to social distance if you're seeing each other in another bubble.
I don't know, man. There is still that chance, right? Because even you got to go out and go to the shops and like buy shit. So
if Boris Johnson does say you're allowed to see other people in other bubbles for Christmas Day, are you gonna go see your mum, or are you thinking let's be wise about this and not see my mum?
I think it's gonna be a case of I'm not gonna see my mum because my mum's probably gonna be chilling with my grandma. And
my
grandma's at risk, so it'll probably be like a chill here at
be
Christmas
safe
type situation. Because at the end of the day, like I would rather spend more years with that person rather than risk it all on a day.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense.
But hey, again, we ain't experts, we don't know. But these are just my thoughts, man. Me and Lam were speculating that we were gonna go into some sort of madness back in when we first started talking about COVID last year, Like, obviously, we didn't know a lockdown would come.
I feel like talking about COVID has been... We've done this so much on this podcast. And it's evolved so much.
So much.
It's crazy.
It's been a year.
Like from when we first started talking about it, we're like, oh, this damn flu is just making... like
the racist
creating a target for Asian people, this and that. And then now it's just completely... Which is still really relevant, that sort of thing. But
I think we've dialed back into that. Like a lot more people are just I don't know, maybe finding ways to vent their frustrations, and maybe the way that they react when they see, you know, an East Asian is making them, like, you know, obviously send them over the edge. Like obviously they may have those tendencies already, but that's like sent them over the edge.
Yeah,
like,
and it ain't a surprise that it ain't a surprise that we've seen people in our community like Nigel Ung, shout outs to him, Vivial, and I think Zing Seng, who's a writer from Vice UK. They've all experienced like racist attacks within like 7 days of each other, within a week.
And those are only people that we know of, right? Because they're in they're in that space. But what about all the countless other people who are not on social media and not reporting this out and don't have like the ability to voice those opinions? Like that's happening, bro. Those things are happening out there. So, and it just makes me feel like like we should be coming together at a time like this rather than be pointing fingers. Like so,
but I mean, we can't escape the fact that it's happening.
Yeah,
you know, and it's like whilst everyone has to deal with COVID and having to socially distance and be safe, we have that extra burden of making sure that we don't get any racial slurs shouted at us, we don't get physically abused, you know. But there's so many campaigns going on to try and help, you know. There's so many charities, there's so many grassroots movements, so there's so many that we can follow and like. So 100%. Just keep the movement going.
That's it. And
it just makes it more important than ever.
See what you can do with Be Seen, and just get your voice out there. Like if something's happened to you, like report it, because it needs to be heard about and it needs to be made a point of. Because I feel like again it's still brushed over, like it's not a thing. It's not a thing.
That's really, it. Because in the mainstream, everyone just wants to talk about COVID, which rightly so. But then this subset issue that has happened because of it is still massive, and it still impacts so many people.
This ain't no Karen situation. You get me?
Yeah, exactly.
Like we're not out here banding together because we're all called Karen, and we're feeling really sad. Although I do feel really, really, sad about that. It's a bit peak, like, because obviously, there was an uprise of people cussing Karens on like social media, and that was used as a kind of like a slur, kind of almost.
Yeah, but I mean, given the amount of racial slurs that they had back at us, I mean, being called Karen ain't that deep. Like, come on, 100%, it's just a name,
100%. And it's not our fault that you're called Karen. it's your parents'
or
fault.
maybe just don't be a Karen and be better. How about
Get a name
that?
change. Get a name change. No, but it's like there could be cases of like somebody who's called Karen and they're just a nice person and they're just a good citizen, but they're getting wrecked.
Yeah.
There could be. But hey, look.
Yeah, but whatever, it's like if you're a nice person, then obviously they're not gonna be targeted, even though your name is Karen. It's just a coincidence. Like, sorry, you had to feel this very, very small pain, which is very insignificant compared to the amount of trauma and burden that all POC people suffer. I mean, their one is pretty tiny in comparison. Like, just the fact that you have a name called Karen.
It's banter though. It's pure banter. I do feel it's peak. Like, you're born with the name Karen. I don't think any kids are getting called Karen in this century.
Yeah, I think no one is going to be called Karen for the next like 15, 20 years. It's like how no one's called Adolf anymore. Adolf, that name's just ruined. Ain't no one calling their son Adolf.
Right? Or imagine somebody actually does. If anybody else is called Adolf out there right now, you're born in the last 10 years. Last 20 years. Last 20 years, because
probably 50 years. I mean, that only takes us back to the 70s. Well, not even longer than that.
Yeah, if your name is Adolf, or Adolf, however you want.
It's a bit of a shame. These war criminals, they just kind of
they ruin names
be named that anymore.
Bro, oh my god, I know a guy who's called Saddam Hussein.
That actual full name, Saddam and Hussein.
Yes,
that's peak.
And he's a really nice guy.
I mean,
he's really intelligent, and he always gets a look from somebody when you go, Saddam Hussein's coming, and then
there's always a joke in there.
Yeah, you always get that double take. You're like, what?
If I was called Saddam Hussein, I think I'd just change my name.
Nah, do you know what? He's a litty guy. He don't care.
Guy. He learned to live with it.
He don't care, man. He's intelligent, bro.
It's the same.
He don't feel emotion. Like, I swear.
Oh, that's okay. Oh, he's just a robot.
Yeah. Trust me. He's like,
maybe he is Saddam Hussein. Guy just feels nothing.
So yeah,
it's
I
true.
guess
Like, there's a few good names that you can't call anymore. Like the name Osama. That's such a nice name. I think Osama is such a nice name, but you can't be called Osama anymore because
it kind of has a Japanese feel to it as well.
I've never thought of it that way, but yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
Osama.
Yeah, Osama.
Osama-gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be, bro. It could definitely be. That's a shout. Who else can you not be called? You can't be called Boris Johnson.
Yeah. Well, I think Boris was just a terrible name to begin with. I mean, I think regardless of Bojo being prime minister, I don't think anyone was calling their kid Boris from the start.
His parents fucked him, man. But that's like, I think there would be a lot of people who still calling their kids Donald though, like
Donald. Yeah,
and I think that's like there are quite a few. I mean, obviously Donnie has been Donald.
Yeah. Donald's a bit of a weird one. Yeah, I don't want to call my.
Well, there are a lot of people who love Donald, so like all the people who support Donald.
That's true. Maybe there'll be a surge of Donalds in the future.
100%, bro.
That's a scary thought. Blonde hair with a lot of fake suntan. It's quite horrific to think about, actually.
I mean, the world's a crazy place, man. Hey, man, how crazy would it be if Donald Trump served for another 4 years? That would be mental. But anything can happen.
Well, I mean, all the polls are suggesting that Biden will win, but you never know what's going to happen.
But weren't that the case with Hillary Clinton? Weren't she in the lead, and then it was a mass
exact same thing? So
yeah, so.
But I'm not really keeping up with it. I don't know.
I don't really know how those things work because I don't know how you can be ahead in the polls and then suddenly lose. Like,
I was watching this Bernie Sanders thing, and it's like so when they're counting the polls, apparently Republicans like to do it through going to the actual stations.
Yeah.
And they get counted first.
Yeah.
But for Democrats, they tend to vote more through mail, and they get counted later. So it could be that all the polling station ones get counted first, and then you think, oh shit, Republicans won, and then they count all the mail ones, and then it changes.
Oh yeah, so I mean, any information.
So there's like second or third counts, basically.
I mean, any information you hear now is just like BS then until the numbers actually get fully counted. It's like, how can you count half the numbers and then be like, yes, this person's in the lead, and then do the full count? Like,
Well, normally they have swing states, right?
So what did that mean?
So it's like
explain
in
for
the
the
UK.
viewers.
In the UK, it would be where we grow up, Southwark. It's either always Lib Dem or Labour. So then, if they find out that Tory has won Labour, then it's like, oh crap, they won a swing borough.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
Where
So
it's
they
like,
do the same thing with states.
Yeah, it's like California is definitely going to be Democrats because they've always voted Democrats. But then there are certain states where they're kind of like 50-50, not sure. And if they lose that one, then they're like, oh, how many others can they lose?
It's just bare BS to hype it, bro. It's just mad BS to hype it.
I think election campaigns are so crazy, you know.
How much money
compared
gets
to
spent on them campaigns?
I don't know, but apparently like millions and millions.
Like, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, bare P gets spent.
Yeah.
Like, yo, people out here need that stimulus.
It's
People
it's a whole different thing, man.
Bro,
it's crazy.
They need to just pass that stimulus, give the people their monies. We got furlough now until December. Well, November, and if this carries on to December, which obviously I think it will. So
Probably will happen.
Yeah, but whoop whoop. Well, I'm getting full pay for my job, so I'm about to live. Unpopular opinion, I love lockdown because I get paid and I'm chilling. Obviously, nothing's really changed for you because you're still working like normal pace at home, innit?
Yeah, I'm one of the privileged ones. Quite lucky in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to have that job security because obviously loads of people I know redundancies and whatnot. So like Christmas for some people is a myth. It's just like they're wondering whether they can carry on into the next year. So obviously with the whole lockdown situation, and obviously we were coming into that, like Halloween wasn't a thing this year, which is a shocker. Nobody came knocking at my doors. I didn't buy any sweets. Yeah.
Do you like it when you get trick or treaters, or you just kind of
Halloween, baby?
Just take the sweets, man.
I think as a kid, right? I was very indoctrinated into that idea of like, ooh, Halloween, da 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 da. All I know is like you dress up, you get sweets, right? You're a kid, and that's what you know. But then
did you ever go trick or treating as a kid?
I don't think so. I don't have any fond memories of ever trick or treating.
I have never ever trick or treated ever in my life. But I don't think that's something I could have gone to my parents and I'm being like, can you buy me a costume and then take 3 hours out of your day to make me go to strangers' houses and then not to get sweets? My mum would have been like, what are you talking about? Are you crazy?
Exactly. I didn't even have that thought, even the audacity to ask my mum, can you buy me this so I can go out on road and knock on strangers' doors?
I actually remember in school, I'd be like, wow, you guys actually trick or treat. There's actually people that I know that do this. Because I just thought it was like distant. It was just like distant people that I never thought I would come into contact with.
I think it was definitely more of like an English thing. Like I definitely knew like anybody who was like all my white friends, they did this. Like there was without a doubt. But then any of my Muslim friends, straight no, nope.
Definitely just a white thing, innit?
Or
definitely like a really British thing.
And I think as I got older, I kind of stick on the side of, do I really want to be dressing up as like demons and monsters on a day and kind of like prancing around like and you know me, I'm a little bit shook of like ghosts in the kind of like Chinesey culture way, like, you know, it's kind of like you're almost inviting the ghost to be like, yeah, you're cool with us and chill with us, because we have this it's not like someone who gets possessed, it's like the ghost chills with them and fucks with them
and follows them around.
And you can get possessed as well and stuff, so like I'm not about that. I'm not trying to invite people, so but then obviously I don't want to be that guy to be like, no, I don't want to give out sweets to kids, I don't want to be that dickhead. But nobody came knocking on my door this year, so I don't feel any guilt. I didn't have anything prepared anyway.
That's funny.
I'm out here trying to be rich, but that's not yet.
So if you ever have kids, would you take them trick or treating?
Nah, fam.
Nah,
I'm not even gonna talk
straight
about
up.
I'm gonna be out here celebrating the moon festival, bro.
Yeah, trust me. I'm like, have some moon cake instead. Damn these damn Smarties.
Yeah.
You know, want Smarties.
Or we celebrate Halloween earlier, but it has a different name, and it's called Mid Autumn Festival.
That really ain't got the same ring to it. Like,
so what we like to call it instead is Moon Festival, which is kind of the same as Halloween. It's the same as Halloween. We just do it earlier because we're trying.
And instead of the pumpkin, we just have a moon cake.
Yeah.
And instead of sweets, we have a moon cake.
Have an egg in there. But wait, I heard some Chinese people have like some sick moon cakes. I remember we did that episode on moon cakes, and you telling me about these LV moon cakes and that.
Oh yeah, that's always a thing, man. That's always a thing.
Like, for
get
me
them
personally,
proper bougie matcha tea ones.
Yeah. I want to taste some like exquisite moon cakes, because the ones that I normally taste are like kind of basic. It's just like dry egg yolk in the middle. That brown,
the standard ones, the one with the gold tin box.
Yeah. But like, I mean,
with
they're
the roses
okay.
on them.
They're okay, but like, they're not fantastic. They're not my go-to meal.
You know, I just when you were talking about being possessed, I was thinking about scary stories that I've had.
No, bro. No,
you don't want to hear it.
Go on. For the viewers,
you don't.
I'll firm it. All right,
yeah.
I'm a wuss, but I'll firm it.
So, Trang, her family has always. I don't know if she'll appreciate me telling this story, but it's funny.
Do you want to go and ask her?
It's sick.
Hi, babes.
I'm sure she's fine. I told my work colleagues she was fine with it, so I'm sure she'll be fine with it this time.
Just the rest of the world is cool.
So her family, they're really like, I don't know how to say it, but they tell me so many stories, and it feels like they're quite in touch with their spiritual side.
Yeah.
Like they kind of have that, you know, sixth sense of being able to see spirits and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So one day, this was ages ago, I think Trang was like 11 or 12 or maybe younger. And her mum was helping her grandma move into her new place.
Yeah.
And there was a painting there, just like lying on just like propped up against the wall. And then her mum was like, "Oh, this is really nice. I'm going to take it home."
I think I've heard this story.
It was just a normal painting. It was like, you know, just a landscape or whatever. It weren't like someone's face or whatever. So then she sticks it up on the wall in Trang's room. And then that same night, she just starts to get really sick. And she gets like a fever, and then she starts having these dreams about like snakes coming out of the painting.
Oh my God,
and then she'd have that consecutively for like 2-3 weeks. But then apparently the snakes were getting closer and closer to her legs every single night, right? So then she goes to her mum and was like, "Mum, I'm like really, really sick. I think I'm really ill." And then her mum was just like, "It's nothing, man. It's nothing." But then Trang was just like, "Can I just sleep with you guys for one night?" So then she does that, and then miraculously she's
better.
She just gets better, and she's like completely fine, right? And then her mum's like, "Okay, you're fine now. Just go back to bed. Just go back to sleep in your room." She goes to sleep in her room, and then straight away she gets those dreams again, and she gets super sick again, and she just like gets a mad fever, really ill. So then now she gets ill again. Her mum is like, "Oh man, something is up. Something is going on." So then she calls the priest over because they're Christians. Doesn't mention the painting at all. The priest just walks around the house, goes into Trang's room, looks at the painting, was like, "You need to get rid of this." How crazy is that?
That's
kind of mad.
This is I can't remember. It kind of brings back memories of I can't remember whether Kien and Carly had a similar experience, but was it with the same painting or?
No, I don't think so. I don't think it was the same painting because
it was
basically Trang's mum.
It was something to do with a painting, and there was like a waterfall, and there was snakes coming out of that one as well. I feel like I've heard this before, bro. And
yeah, man,
that's really creepy.
So then they basically got rid of the painting, and she was fine ever since.
And never look back. Yeah,
never look back. So now, tip of the day: if you ever see a painting in someone else's house, don't ever bloody take it.
Kill it with fire,
because that stuff could be possessed. Like,
kill it with fire. I think those, like, I've heard some crazy stories as well. And, like, Asians have some of the maddest ones. Like, I swear, there was one story, I can't remember who told me this. It's like my cousins, I think, they were living in Thamesmead, and one of their yards, right? Their parents were out for the night, and they're just the kids at home, and it's a 3-story house, so it's got 3 floors, right? And nobody's home, and they're all watching TV downstairs in the living room, and they just hear things falling over upstairs and shit, and then they go upstairs and just bare things are on the floor, like and there's no sign of a break-in, no nothing. And another night, my cousin Peter, he's like brushing his teeth in the mirror, and like as he's brushing it, in and out, and as his hand comes in, his fingernails are like red, and it's like a woman's hand.
Oh, as if it's holding his toothbrush. Holding his hand,
holding the toothbrush. All right, man. I'm gonna stop because I'm giving myself the heebie-jeebies, man. I'm not even Christian, but
I'm normally like a really rational guy, but when it comes to like these superstitions, it's like you can't know everything. There's so much unknown that humans don't know. You can't say for a fact that these things don't exist, even though you can't rationally prove it.
Yeah, mate. I'm. You know what? I don't even want to hear about it. I don't want to know about it. I'm brave. I'll fight a ghost. I will fight a ghost. I will fight a ghost.
I don't want to hear no stories. I'm brave. I'm brave.
I'm speaking it into existence, man.
Don't come near me, guys. I love you guys. I mean no trouble, no harm.
I'm gonna start Googling every single religion and like how to keep away ghosts. Get the talismans, get the cross out,
get the incense, start praying, get the holy water.
I'm gonna do it all. Get garlic, get ginger. I don't know, man.
Ooh. Yeah, man.
Yeah, fuck Halloween. I'm out. I am out. Do not holler me. I'm not coming out dressed as nothing. Like I think it's banter though when on Halloween when people dress up as like other people. Like when people dress up as who is it one night? But people would just wear masks. Like there was one night I think Mickey, he went clubbing out with everybody and he was wearing like not a George Clooney mask, some old guy's mask. But it's just funny like when you dress up as like another person in it. When you like imagine you had somebody, you was out on the night and you was wearing a Boris Johnson mask.
Yeah.
That would be hilarious.
There's this trend on Twitter with like Japanese people's Halloween costumes, and basically what their Halloween costume is just like the most mundane aspects of life. So there would be like a guy just making cup noodles and that's his costume, and he'll be like in sweats like getting ready to watch a movie, and he'll just be like making cup noodles.
So he goes out on the town and he's just got cup noodles and a chopstick.
Yeah. And he's just like got cup noodles and he's just like this pretending to make it. And then there's other ones of like just like a girl getting her hair done with like curlers in.
Oh, so it's like half curled.
Yeah. Just like the most mundane aspects of life, and that's like the Halloween costume. I thought that was pretty funny.
That's that. See, those things I don't mind, but then I think we should like change the name of Halloween because that name creeps me out as well, man. There's just too many weird, vibey connotations with Halloween. Can we just call it Disguise Day?
Disguise Day. That sounds even weirder. Who are you trying to disguise as?
Happy Disguise Day.
It feels like you're just hiding from something.
Happy Disguise Day. I'm
Can
Jackie
you see
Chan.
me? I'm in disguise. Did you know it was me?
Okay.
I'm just gonna come dressed as you and be like, take off my glasses. It was me the whole time, not Michael True.
I'm Superman. Clark Kent.
Slick back there.
I don't take the piss, man.
Surprise.
I make solid ideas.
No, it's definitely solid.
Disguise Day, DD.
But not really like a gold solid. More of a rock solid.
I will take that. That's a win. That is a win in my books.
Great.
Fucking solid. So obviously, to keep on this theme, obviously of Halloween, we do sometimes see people like dressed in like a Chinese outfit or like a Japanese outfit. Like what do you?
Yeah. Like those culturally appropriating costumes, right? Yeah.
What do you feel about that? Because I've got obviously some controversial views.
Yeah, I've got mixed feelings. Because sometimes I don't find it like that deep, you know? Because it is Halloween. You get to dress up as whatever you want. That's kind of like the whole fun of it. But then, I don't know. It's something, sometimes when I see people dressing up in kind of like a traditional geisha costume or like a traditional Asian costume, it's like, to me, Halloween is supposed to be like trying to scare people, right? But now it's just kind of been about just wearing a costume. But what should your culture ever be seen as a costume? Like, obviously, a geisha is a very important part of Japanese culture. Should it really just be, you know, like a Halloween costume for you to just wear? I don't know. To me, it always feels a bit weird.
I guess you'd have to ask the question, like, would a Japanese person dress up as a geisha on Halloween? Is that something that they would do as well? Like, are they appropriating it for themselves as a costume? But it's a dicey one, because like I don't feel like I got the authority to say whatever. Like, or if somebody's wearing a Chinese outfit or a chi pao, right, on Halloween, I would be like, I don't know how I'd feel about it. I guess I'm not really, because I don't wear it on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
If I see someone wearing it.
Like, I know people who are like extremely into the culture. Like, you see people who are really into anime culture, really into the Japanese culture, and they love that culture.
Yeah, yes.
And then they'll just wear it for Halloween. I'm like, okay, like, I get that you're just trying to appreciate the culture. But then you get some people who just have nothing to do with the Asian culture at all. I don't know a single thing about it, and then just want to wear our clothes, and I just don't know what the reason is.
I guess
just because do they appreciate it, or they just, I don't know. I can't really find a word to put my finger on it.
This is what I'm like. If I'm thinking about it, like, logistically, right? I ain't got the time to. Yeah, if I ain't got the time to go out there and be like, why are you wearing a Chinese costume? Like, I ain't got the time in the day. Like, you know what I mean? And it's hard to be like,
subconsciously,
like, do we want to police this kind of situation? But yeah, I do agree. I don't think culture should be appropriated, like, and like the best parts of it used when you see fit, from. But I also see it the other way, is like, maybe in a situation, and this is me just trying to rationalize it, but maybe like this person's a fanatic of Chinese culture, and okay, they dress up in Chinese outfit, and they're actually educating other people on I don't know, Chinese culture and whatnot. Obviously, this is a perfect case scenario, and it's very unlikely in terms of numbers being very high, but maybe they're out there doing justice. But yeah, I guess as a broad statement, yeah, just I guess no cultural appropriation. But then,
yeah, I think it's difficult to kind of police.
Yeah,
but it's just it just makes me feel some ways. I'm always just a bit like, oh, why do you do that?
What about like Chun-Li, right? Because she's wearing like Chinesey outfit, and then maybe someone dresses up as Chun-Li, and then
then you're going for Chun-Li. You're not going. That's a specific character you're going for. But it's not like you're. But then if
I don't know, but yeah, maybe they're taking aspects of it, and you don't know it looks like Chun-Li. Maybe it's a really poorly done Chun-Li, and it's just using a Chinese outfit, and yeah. But there's too many fucking angles to it, and I think broadly, cultural appropriation wrong. But yeah, I have fun, man. Live your life, like, fucking, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be out here be like, nah, you can't do that, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that, and then life is just like, fucking.
No, I mean, there are some lines though.
Yeah. But
there are some lines.
But it's hard to be like with every single case and be like, yo.
But then isn't there a line that you'd want to set? Like, obviously for black people, blackface is incredibly offensive. So then they come out and said, don't do blackface because that's offensive to us.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
You, what is the line? What is the line for you?
I don't know where that line is. I guess yellowface. Yellowface is the line.
But then I suppose we're just, because blackface has set the tone, we're just kind of following the tone.
I think.
but then
it's hard to etch out all the rules that make it a perfect society.
Well, no,
right?
I'm just saying what personally from you,
personally,
what would it be?
I have no fucking clue, bro. Like I said, I ain't the best person to ask about this. Me, I ain't even the most Chinese person. There are people out there more Chinese even. Would you
find it weird if they wore, the kind of
the Guernsey outfit?
In the olden days, and they had the hair and it was slicked back, and they had the long ponytail. They had the long ponytail.
Yeah.
And then they wore a classic Chinese outfit. If how would you feel if a white person or a black person wore that?
What, the hair? Like a wig type situation?
The hair, the wig, and then the whole Chinese costume. But this was a guy that obviously doesn't know a single thing about our culture.
I'll be like, wow, how did you stumble across this outfit, which is like proper sick, and not know anything? Like, where did you pick this up from? Like, I would ask questions, and obviously, like, I wouldn't immediately be like, yo, what the fuck? Because
but it raises questions, right?
I'll just
so you wouldn't just look at it and then be like, whatever.
No, I'd be more intrigued rather than like rather than like in a negative light. I'd be more like interested. Be like, yo, the man's dressed up as like Jet Li and like.
And then what if the answers were then like, man, I don't care. I just wanted to look Chinese.
Yeah, then that's kind of different. But then it's like, yo, am I out there going and asking everybody who's dressed inappropriately as?
No, I'm saying this specific example. Now they've said, I just want to look Chinese.
Yeah, then obviously, I'll be like, cool, okay.
So there is a line.
I guess so.
So now we're kind of defining a line for you.
Yeah, but my line consists of having data to go off of, right?
Yeah, and this is the data that in this hypothetical scenario, I'm saying
exactly. It's so hypothetical and it's so specific. You know what I mean? Like, to etch out those kind of like broad rules, I couldn't be the one to be like, yeah, this is right and this is wrong.
Yeah, but they can be specific. They can be really specific.
Yeah, I mean, in the case of if somebody's using cultural appropriation, they're not really.
But what is that? You say cultural appropriation, like. So what is that?
So and then it's their semantics.
Like what's an example? What's an example of someone culturally appropriating Chinese culture?
Yeah, it's just, I guess,
to like, you, what would it be?
Okay, this would piss me off if you dressed up like that, but then you were wearing like a COVID t-shirt or something like. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be like it would have to be like, oh, Chinese.
That's so extreme.
That's what I'm saying. Like, because I can't be out there and be like, oh.
So your tolerance is extremely high.
Yeah, I guess so. If someone's dressed as Wong Fei Hong, I would just be like, wow, that's pretty.
What if they had their eyes like this? What if they did the?
If they were doing,
if I was back.
Yeah, if they were doing that, I'd be like, bro, that's a bit.
And they taped it back.
Yeah, we know that's a line for me though. If somebody's doing that, that's a line for you. That's a line for me. That's a line.
But then just wearing
like Wong Fei Hong's
Asian outfit.
That don't.
It is not a line.
No.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, I guess it's hard to say like what affects you in what way, but like obviously the reason why that affects me in a certain way is because
doing the slanty eyes.
Yeah, because people used to take the piss out of me because I got small eyes, like, and I actually got like bullied for that. So so it was just kind of okay, that's a clear line in the sand that I can draw. But somebody dressed as Wong Fei Hong, like, you know what I mean? I'll be like, mad thing, sick one.
Yeah.
And I'll go about my day like I wouldn't care.
That's interesting. So it's kind of because of past racial issues, things that are already in existence, that are clearly marked as racist. That is the line for you. But things that could be perceived as racist to a certain person, if that hasn't happened to you in the past, you would brush that off.
Ooh. Wow, man, Lamb's interrogating me, boy, with the specifics today. Wow.
No, I'm just saying this is like an honest conversation about it, right? Because we don't
on blast.
Because we don't really talk about what cultural appropriation is. We always have it as like a binary thing, like, oh, it's good, it's bad, But we've never actually sat down and be like, oh, what do we genuinely think about it?
I guess, yeah, I would have to say, like, I guess for me personally, it has to have some sort of emotional connection, right? For me to feel a certain way. But I think this is just how I function, right? Because if I don't feel anything towards it, like, I've kind of learned the ability to just, like, switch off. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? If it's not really a major deal, I don't really want to stress my life about it. Thinking for the next 10 hours, like, rah, this really fucked up my day because man was dressed as in a Chinese outfit. Like, rah, this.
You don't deep it.
Nah.
If it doesn't offend you personally, then you don't deep it.
I don't. Not that I don't want to fight the case. It's just I don't want to ruin my day. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, because me, right, I'm really stubborn and I'll hold on to that emotion. And I know, I'll be vexed about something, I'll be vexed about it for time. And I like being happy, man. I don't want to be.
I feel that. I get what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
You know, if it doesn't if it's something that doesn't offend you personally, then why are you going to work yourself up over it? But I suppose where I kind of differ is like, if, let's say, another culture, let's say I thought dressing up as a Native American and I was just like, oh, that's cool. Or if I wore like a traditional sari or something and I was like, oh, that's cool. That's just me appreciating the culture. But then I heard from the community and they were all saying, look, I find this problematic because of ABC. I don't think it's appropriate because of ABC. Then am I going to go, oh, because I personally don't deep it, am I just not going to empathize with how they feel? And then say, I'm just going to ignore what you guys think about it because me personally, I think it's okay.
No,
but
obviously,
then, obviously, I'd have to be like, well, I have to take what they're saying on board. If they're finding that offensive, then okay, then maybe I need to check myself.
Yeah, 100. I think that's definitely a shout, right? Like you've got to take other people's feelings into account and how they feel.
Yeah.
Like that's how we'll progress. But like there have been cases where I've worn a sherwani, which is like a South Asian attire, and this was like a fashion week, and you know, I was doing some stand up and like everybody there was like South Asian, and you know, I partly did this because I was like advertising for a company, but you know, like I was like, right, I actually look sick in this, and you know what I mean? And for me, it wasn't like me trying to be culturally, like trying to cultural appropriate this thing. I just thought, yeah, sick, it's clothes. Like, let me wear it.
You just kind of took it. Yeah. But
and
on a very...
But yeah, if somebody's hurt by because me wearing it, I'd be like, but why? Like, I want to hear why, and then obviously adjust based on that answer. But it's quite difficult. Like, if I see somebody else wearing a Chinese outfit, I'm like, cool. Even if it's on a daily basis. It's like one of my African mates. He bought me like an African style T-shirt that looks like African attire. Like and again, like, do I wear it or do I like not wear it now? Like, because have I been given the okay card to wear it? Like, but I just think it looks sick.
Yeah.
I just think it looks sick, and then he gave me that. But then what? Okay, so am I now feeling like I shouldn't wear it, or do I have to explain myself every time like somebody comes up to me like, why are you trying to culturally appropriate African attire? I'm like, my friend gave it to me.
Yeah. You're always gonna get hate from somewhere, aren't you?
Yeah, and so and I think me personally, and this is what I was saying about my views, a little bit controversial maybe, is like, wear whatever. Like, at least everybody gets to learn about everybody's culture. I guess really when it comes down to like the I's and the T's and dotting those, yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, if there's a case of this person in their past like only like being bare racist to Chinese people and then wearing Chinese clothing, it's just like WTF. Then yeah, that.
But what if someone's completely ignorant? Somebody could be completely ignorant and don't know anything about Asian culture. To them, Asians only, to them, it's just that outfit.
Fuck it.
Because some people, it would be like, you know,
just wear it, and then
just because some people don't even realize.
It's a chance to learn something, right? Because then maybe someone strikes a conversation with you and starts teaching you about things. And I'm trying to think about it in a positive light, right? And this is going to open up, it's going to be a conversation starter. It's going to, hopefully, they won't get punched in the face by somebody by it. But personally, I wouldn't punch somebody in the face for wearing, a cheap out, like, you know what I mean?
But what if they did that and they were like, you explain to them why you found it offensive?
But I don't though. But me personally, I don't. So it's hard for me to back that
obviously
point.
if they did that took you offensive.
But if they did that, I'll be like, yo, like that's it's hurting.
And then they were like, well, I suppose I'm just creating scenarios here, but then it's like, if they did something that was really racist, and then they should see that it's racist. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You shouldn't actually have to try and validate or explain to them why it's offensive.
But it's like, I guess I don't have a lot of confidence in people's intelligence.
If it's racist to you, then that should be enough. You shouldn't have to explain why it's racist to you.
Some people, I guess, need explaining, because that's like, some people just do it and they don't know that they're being racist. You know what I mean?
Like, this is what I don't get.
So it's a sticky one.
How do you not know?
This is why I say I don't have a lot of confidence in people's intelligence. But I say this lightly. I don't say this lightly, because I'm not the smartest person in the bunch either. But like, I'm okay with, if I've done something wrong, let me know, and I'll reprimand myself and readjust my behavior. But some people don't take that advice and they react upon that in it as well. So it's situational. But hey, what else, man? Just, I don't care. Personally, I don't care. Like, obviously, if it's upsetting other people, you probably shouldn't do it. But me personally, But I'm not the role model to be like, for all Chinese people, this is what we say. I'm not. That's not me.
Yeah.
I'm not the best example. I'm not the best example. You know what I mean?
No, for sure.
You said that too easily, lad.
It was quite easy to say, actually.
But
I think it's fair enough. I mean, no one should ever feel like they have to speak for their entire culture, because everyone's going to have a different opinion. So yeah, well, me personally, so I don't find it that deep as well. But then I always just question, what was the purpose of you wearing this costume? Because everyone thinks about their costume, right? And they just want their costume to be the best, or like they put some thought into their costume. So if you're putting thought into your costume, right?
Yeah. Okay. On this
enough to kind of buy a whole outfit for, then you should at least have some sense of what that costume means. It's like, I don't know.
I mean, your answer is pretty much the same as mine. So I'd just like to point out that. Wow. Don't put me on blast here, yeah? Because Lavin pretty much.
No, go on, put me on blast. I'm waiting for you to put me on blast.
No, because I totally agree. I don't think I should put you on blast, because I think, that's it's right? It's tough to say that you should be the example for the entire population of that, ethnicity. But yeah, I guess it's just down to semantics, man. If you are gonna do something like that, know why you're doing it, and have a good reason for doing it. Like, if somebody's gonna talk to you about it.
I think when you're wearing a costume that's based on heritage and culture, that heritage and culture obviously has so much meaning. It's so much more serious than just a costume for one day. Like, if someone was to wear like a traditional red dress that you'd wear for a typical Chinese wedding as a costume, I'll be like, you realize how important that is for our culture, and you're just using it as a costume to wear for one day for laughs. It would be like if someone wore like a hijab that has so much cultural importance, and you're just using it as a costume.
That one's a bit different though, because it involves religion as well. Like, whereas this is what I'm about. Well, culture and religion, right? Yeah, but it's a dicey you're trying to rationalize everything. But it's a dicey one, man.
But it's like, what if they were wearing like a traditional Vietnamese dress as well, that you would only wear for special occasions, that you would only wear, you know, for a wedding, for
like a christening.
Exactly. And then now you're just wearing it as a costume for kicks.
But my and this is me just, you know, fighting the other side of the argument. You just need
to understand what the cultural relevance is before you just start saying, I'm just going to wear this for laughs, you know.
But I would hope in that maybe they went and bought that from an actual, you know, an East Asian, if it was like a Chinese or a Vietnamese dress, and they got paid. So we're still winning.
Yeah, well, helping small business. Yeah, that's kind of, I get where you're coming from, but you're kind of just like swerving from the point there. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, if we're talking about this, it's definitely worth finding out.
But do you see what I mean?
But it's I don't really. It's not that I don't expect people. I don't really think that people are gonna go and do that out of their day, like to do the research. There are so many people who just say the most wildest of shit.
But
right?
I think,
and they have no cares in the world.
But I think we live in such a multicultural country, world even. We live in a country. We live in a world where with so many diverse cultures that you can't just be ignorant to the fact that they don't exist and they don't have any cultural heritage or cultural value. You can't just live in a world where you don't think about that. You can't just live in a world where that's ignorant to you. Do you know what I mean? You can't just be like, those things don't matter to me.
But
because everyone else lives in this world as well.
Because white people don't really have history, man.
I never said that. You did.
Yeah. I'm just saying a lot of the history is built on a foundation of colonization, right? So, you know, they don't really have a strong cultural history like a lot of other ethnicities.
Well, that, if anything, it makes it even worse because they have a history of colonizing other cultures and then now borrowing their culture and borrowing their outfits just for very
I'm not
British,
saying
or,
I'm not
British or Western outfit.
I'm just saying
it's kind of like a microcosm of colonization as well.
Yeah,
right?
I guess
Wouldn't
so.
you say?
Yeah, I guess so. But I guess you don't expect them to behave in any other way. No, wait, these are outrageous statements. These are outrageous. I'll put my hand up and say I'm messing.
So basically, Michael's like, don't deep it because I already know you're racist and I don't really care. Put words in your mouth there, but I think that's essentially it.
The man paragraphed it into like a sentence. Like I just think that maybe they don't have much of a, and this obviously I don't know shit. This is just my opinion. Maybe they don't have much of an appreciation for the culture and the history because they don't have a really strong one themselves. Like,
but this goes back to the whole conversation of why it should be a topic because we need to be the ones that
it totally
tells them that this stuff is important to us.
Yeah, I think, but you know,
but to you don't care.
No.
Wow. I'm gonna stop doing this.
If you're watching on the camera right now, I got a middle finger right up to Lam right now.
Speak your mind.
Lam is trying to incite.
No, I ain't. Go on, speak your mind.
Hey, if I start getting people knocking at my door, bro, with like fucking pitchforks and torches, man. Oh my lord.
Speak your mind.
I just think it is important. And I think all cultures need to have an appreciation for other cultures, and they need to have the ability to want to listen and understand and to do those things to help those people appreciate their history and their culture as well. And however, I do believe that it is such a wide spectrum of things that happen. And you could say like so many little things have these little effects. But yes, in a broader sense, I think if it makes it easier and it hurts less people, fuck it. Like I'll just be like, fuck it, just don't wear it. But to me, personally, it doesn't affect my mental health or me or my emotional state. However, I do sympathize and empathize with people who are hurt. Wow, I'm getting so political here, boy.
I was gonna say that, like, you could run for president or you can run for for MP or something, because that was just.
What is it? Is it 2023 or 2022? Like, when's the next election?
I don't know, but that was straight up political rhetoric.
But I would say 100%. Like, it could be easier to just be like, yeah, fuck it, nobody should wear that. But then I don't think that's the be all and end all, because then it creates a
I'm just saying
segregation, right? It's down to the semantics. Yeah.
It just comes down to education. You need to educate them. You need to teach them. You need to basically say, don't be so ignorant next time. It's basically all we're saying.
Boom! Just saying, on that bombshell.
Just take a second to think about your outfit first, before wearing it.
I agree totally.
Yeah.
That's I wish we would have come to that conclusion sooner.
Sometimes it takes a debate to get there, you know. Sometimes the most profound sentences come from this.
I didn't even know I could utter such political statements. But
it's because you were backed into a corner there. You were like, I gotta say something. Hey,
you put me on fucking blast. But yeah, I think to round up,
it was worthwhile. But
yeah. It's because obviously some people might feel the same way that I do, and at least we've come to a broader decision. But I don't think we represent the whole again of the ethnic.
Nah, definitely. We're
background.
just two Southeast London boys. Like,
yeah. So yeah, if you lot want to chime in and tell us we're completely wrong, you know where to hit us up. Comments in the YouTube. Yeah, like tweet us. Actually, we ain't got a Twitter. Instagram, respect the mic pod. But I guess to wrap up the episode, I did want to talk about something really kind of cool. And you told me about this. 'Cause it never hit my radar. And it's Over the Moon on Netflix. It's essentially I don't know who made it. Is it Pixar or someone? It's like
I think it was. It wasn't one of the major ones. I think it was something called Pearl. Yeah, it wasn't one of the major ones like DreamWorks or Pixar.
So it was kind of like a Disney-esque movie, but the main characters and the setting was all in China. So it's actually really, really. I found it really, really beautiful. I didn't find it offensive in any way. I was really happy by the end of the credits that there were. It's East Asians.
It's such a state of our place that we say there's a Chinese movie and then we weren't offended.
It's upsetting.
It's just like
it's upsetting that I have to
you know what I mean? Like, to say that. Line. That's the bar.
But it was cool. I was quite happy, like, because there hasn't really, and I think I was really kind of over the moon about this.
Terrible.
But it felt like one of those things there where being a Chinese, like, I would definitely want to keep that in my repertoire to show to my children and to feel like they can resonate with characters, strong characters, because the main character was a girl and a little boy, but the main character was the girl, and they were strong and they were smart and they were it was everything that you want a main character to be, right? And they were Chinese but being Chinese, it wasn't like a gimmicky thing. Like, it was set in China, so it was really beautiful. And I like that they did it around the whole Moon Festival, because that doesn't really get a lot of
no, it doesn't at all.
A lot of hype, and obviously because it was like, well, I don't know if it was originally voiced in any other languages, but
no, I think it was meant to be American.
Yeah, it was all American English. So I think is wonderful.
Enjoyed it.
I'm sure that's gonna do bits across the younger generation, especially in like America, and there being such a massive East Asian community. Like, shouts, man.
I definitely think it was a step in the right direction in terms of representation for us.
I don't think it was the best, but
it was
good.
I think
it was good.
The beginning and the end, where they talked about what the Mooncake Festival was, what Mid-Autumn Festival was, the whole making mooncakes, the whole family gathering around for dinner.
That was
I
beautiful.
love that sort of. I love that sort of traditional setting, and it just showed a Chinese family, in its setting, in its supposed setting, right?
Yeah, and it was a modern Chinese family.
Yeah. I don't know, but to me, I kind of liked it. I don't think I was blown away by it. I think there was the whole thing where she got into the rocket. Spoiler alert, and she goes to the moon. and then she goes on that strange land with the women.
Mm.
I wasn't completely convinced by that. I was like, if you're gonna make an imaginary realm based on Chinese tradition, then
do it in the clouds.
They could have, exactly. That's just a quick way to do it, right?
Yeah,
that
do it in
would
the
seem
clouds.
so much more authentic.
Yeah,
I think they could have borrowed so much more from our cultures and our stories that they could have made that a little better. Like all those little characters, like all those colorful characters, I didn't really believe them. I was like, what are they? Like, what culture are they supposed to represent? Like, to me, that whole thing felt a bit, I don't know, it just felt a bit simplistic, and it felt a bit too, I think they did a lazy job with that.
Yeah,
I don't think they put enough focus onto that.
I was going to say, like, overall, like, script writing and the whole story, it was a little bit, it felt rushed. But the parts where they showed the family and all of those parts about the mooncake, it was beautiful. And,
the beginning and the end was wicked.
Yeah, and I think, and even when you see the animation, when it goes into the unrealistic stuff, you see the animation looks shit as well. Like, it gets really blown out, and nothing looks really detailed. So it looks like they really rushed that whole movie. But however, like you said, it's a step in the right direction, and there isn't, apart from the Mulan the cartoon movie, there isn't much else that I would say I would want to show my kids. But I'd add this to that list in terms of things that I want them to watch, to be more informed on their background, their cultural heritage.
It's definitely changing.
Yeah,
because Ray of the Dragon's coming out soon, isn't it?
Oh, mad thing.
Yeah,
I haven't seen any trailers for this either. Why is none of this hitting my radar?
I don't know. I have no clue,
bruv.
But I'm here to enlighten you.
Over the Moon, right, had a 97% match on things that I liked, but it never came up on any of my feed for Netflix. That's
on the top 10, it came. It has the top 10 in the UK. When it came out, it was like 7th, and then it bumped up to 4th. So I don't know how you didn't see that. It
never showed up as recommended for you. Weird. Or like stuff that you like. And I usually click the stuff like this. And this is 97% match. So I'm surprised it never showed up at all. So but I was quite gassed, man. And obviously shouts to Ken Jeong. He was hilarious in it.
Yeah.
And I think I just have I think overall it was biased in my terms of how I feel about it, because it ticked so many boxes in terms of, oh, this is correct. Oh, this is correct. But I hate that I have to do that. You know what I mean? Now that I have to, there's a list to be like, okay, got to check this off. Okay, got to check this off. Okay, got to check this off. But if I'm gonna as a film, it was meh.
Yeah.
If I view it through that lens and not the in the right direction type of for our cultural heritage, and as a film,
Yeah.
I personally, I wouldn't watch it again.
Step in the right direction, but I think because it was an independent, it was from a production company that's not really that famous, so maybe they didn't have that much budget, and particularly the writing and directing was done by a white cast, right? So there are definitely areas to improve. 100%. But then that kind of leads me to Ray of the Dragon, which probably looks a lot more hopeful, because that's from the makers of Moana.
Hoy.
And it's a proper Disney movie. Trailer looks great. So I've got high hopes for that one.
Well, let's see how things pan out, because we had high hopes for Mulan. Actually, no, I didn't really have high hopes.
I never had high hopes for Mulan.
Yeah, I remember being so shocked that they're not going to have the "let's get down to business." Yeah, that was... So yeah, Over the Moon, I do recommend. Watch it. I think it's definitely a shout. It'll probably be one of those movies that you watch one time and never revisit, unless you're playing it for kids. You got kids. I guess.
That kind of wraps us up, right?
Yeah, we fuck me, Lamb. We went on for about an hour.
Jeez, that was a big debate.
Yeah, I mean, you really put me on blast. I really hope this isn't a trend that carries on into the future, because
why?
You had me sweating at one point. You'd be like, "Ooh, what if I say the wrong thing?"
I just wanted you to speak your mind, really.
Again, like my mind is always like, like I'm not the guy to get vexed about things unless it's physical pain and like people are getting harmed. Like when grannies are getting pushed into ponds and that stuff riles me up.
Yeah.
And I think that probably
but
takes
they're all
more.
The same thing.
Yes.
They're all the same thing, but just on a different scale. And then if you let the small things happen, then it eventually rolls into the big things.
Yeah, but it's tough to be the guy to be like, hey.
Yeah. It's definitely exhausting.
Hey. I just want to be that guy who's happy. And it's
I feel
tough.
you.
It's tough in the world. It's just like you got to be careful about what you say. Even I mean, obviously, it's a great thing that people are thinking more about what they say and being more mindful. But for me, sometimes it's just like, it's another thing to just be like, although I'm not even doing those things anyway, but in the back of my mind, it makes me kind of nervous, like, oh shit, because like, you know, it's kind of like this. This is a perfect analogy, right? It's like when you see the police, and even though you're not doing anything wrong, you feel like, oh shit, it's the police. Do you ever feel like that?
You just need to fix up a bit.
Yeah. And so having all of these things and being it so PC kind of makes me a little bit more nervous in a world where I wasn't nervous before and I weren't doing those things. But it's good. It's great, and I think at least people are learning, and it's just something that I'm gonna have to keep up to pace with, because you know we can't stop learning again. I'm not the most wisest person out here.
Yeah, I think that's what it is, right? You just got to keep learning. You just got to be involved in the conversation. I've never really felt like I've had to watch what I say.
No, neither have I really, but it does make me think more about content that I'm making. And even when I'm making, even it made me like have a kind of cognitive dissonance when I was playing Tony Chang, you know, who's like, oh, hello, so Chinese, so DVD. And obviously, and then obviously as time went by, like in the beginning, I was like, yeah, this is a great thing. And then obviously as time went on, I was like, oh, am I perpetuating, you know, a stereotypical image of Chinese people to people? So I had a lot of cognitive dissonance there, and it really messed with my psyche, because I enjoy acting and I enjoy being that character. And I think Tony Chang brought out the best parts of me. But
it's good to challenge that, right? I mean, if you didn't think about it, then you would just be kind of happy to accept the status quo. So the fact that you felt this way made you want to challenge it.
I'm holding up my finger and pointing at Lam, because he made a good point.
You would have just been like, this is fine. I'll play a stereotypical Chinese guy every time.
Well, and I don't know. I make that sound.
The fact that you was doing it was like, I don't feel comfortable with this. Made you challenge it, made you think about it, and then made you actually realize that it's actually
round
of
applause for me. So slow clap for me. Lam's not impressed. I guess that pretty much ties it up for our second second lockdown episode. First, second lockdown episode.
Second lockdown episode.
Second lockdown episode.
First, second lockdown episode.
Yeah. There we
go.
That ties it up. Lockdown is going to be absolutely amazing if you make it. So obviously, hopefully you've got a job still and you're making money. But yeah, man, it's perfect time to do all the things that you wanted to do when you said you had no time. Because here we go again. Plenty of fucking time.
And also, don't be so hard on yourself if you can't do it all. Because stressful time for everyone.
100%. And
try.
Hey, if you want to dial back on the Christmas presents, don't get them. There probably won't be a Christmas. All right. Halloween.
But if you do want a Christmas present, we're gonna set up a Patreon because we would love some Christmas presents.
Yeah. £5 donation.
I love microphones.
Yeah. I just want to switch us from Soundcloud, and I want to get this onto a better platform, and that would be fantastic. And Halloween. Don't knock on my door. And try not to culturally appropriate people's outfits, and yeah, you guys PC it because I'm lazy. Lan will be out there PCing the world.
Yeah.
Because I'm
Michael doesn't care. You can come in. You can come in wearing Alzheimer, and then he doesn't give a damn.
Yeah, you can wear that in my house. I don't mind. And Over the Moon. Make sure you go watch that. I hope this was insightful to people. And if you hate me now, please don't kill me. If you want to send us some love, at Respect the Mic Pod on the YouTube. Leave your comments, subscribe, notification bells, SoundCloud. You can leave us a thumbs up, and Apple Podcast. You can leave a 5-star review. That would be really, really helpful to try and push us out there. We would love for there to grow this community. And you can find Michael Lamb on Instagram
at Hong Mike Lamb, and on Twitter _Famalam.
And you can find me on Twitter at Michael H. Trung. That's pretty much it for this episode. Whew! What a shocker.
That was a big one.
What a shocker. Bye, mother bitch!
Peace.